Hey guys, I'm Oscar.
Hello, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Xavier. And this is
No
Place for
Conversation,
Conversation. Episode 3.
where we're gonna shortly talk about.
Well, we won't say
We'll see.
shortly. Today's topic is middle school.
Yes.
But we have a...
We're a little heated right now.
It's gonna be in my corner at the end.
You're a little heated
Yeah.
right now.
Let's just say Jordan's got Oscar and I heated.
Yeah, I got
Um,
them heated.
And we're going
Very
to talk
heated.
about that in my corner at the end of this episode. So we're going to try to get through our topics pretty quickly.
In my defense, y'all are already heated.
Yeah, because, okay,
I just added fuel.
look.
To
We're going to
Alright,
talk
let's
about
just-
this later.
Fair enough.
So,
Who had most exciting middle school out of all?
Who have?
Who had?
who have
Who have story of middle school?
story of middle school? Well, I guess I can start. Something interesting for me at middle school was my teachers. I had a lot of
Teachers.
I'm trying to find
Indubitably.
I'm trying to find the right words. I had a lot of interesting teachers. For example, my math teacher, I referenced him as the cat killer teacher because he was a great guy. We all loved him. Like, he was fun, and it was one of the most entertaining classes to go to. But then one day he decided to tell us this story about when he was our age in middle school and all the cats that he murdered.
Like multiple.
Plural.
Plural
cats.
Plural cats. And
The cat.
I warn you now, if you really love cats, I'm so sorry for what you're about to hear because I'll try to explain it in a less gruesome way than he told us.
Oh, no.
But one cat, there was a time he tied 2 cats by the tail and hung them over a clothing line so that they would fight to the death. There was another time he was walking home from school and a cat fell from a tree and landed on his backpack, his back. He grabbed it, threw it on the ground in front of him, and stomped on its head.
What the fuck is your what?
And
Why?
the worst of all, there was another time that he found a stray cat, brought it home, and put it in the microwave.
But all around great guy, right? That's what
Well,
you're saying.
yeah,
great,
totally
cool dude.
cool.
Look, great
Cool
until
teacher.
Murdered cat.
A
But
serial,
other than
look at
that-
this. A serial killer charms their victims into liking them
Yeah.
before they find out how horrible they are as a person. This teacher was a very likable man, and
So
he
he
was
was-
very cool. And then he told us this story, and everybody was caught off guard. And
So not to
So after the story happened, what you guys were like? Oh, you're not cool. You're not a good
after
guy.
the story, we're kids. After the story happened, majority of us were like, "That's not okay. Why would you?" And he was like, "I was young, you do things, blah blah blah." Looking back on it, he probably is some kind of psychopathic serial killer, some kind of messed up man, and we probably should have told the police. But as children, we didn't know how bad that was. Because he had convinced us that it's not illegal to kill animals, which technically it's not. But
well, if you're unlicensed.
it's like if you're a kid, an adult is your teacher or whatever, and you're in an environment where they've gained your trust, and they teach you something about their life and say it's not that bad. And at that time, you don't know how bad it is. Looking back on it, yeah, I would have called the fucking police and been like, "Hey, my teacher, you should do an open investigation on this man." But yeah, I had a teacher that told us when he was in middle school, he would kill cats, and he enjoyed it.
Did you never be like, "Hey, mom"?
Never
my
told
teacher,
parents about
my
it.
teacher kills cat.
No,
killed
because
cats
it was like
for
one of
fun.
those things that happens in class, and then once you like move on, go to the next class, finish
Or
the day, you forget
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Forget that
it wasn't
happened.
the most important thing that happened that day. So when my parents asked what happened in school, I didn't go, "Oh, our teacher told us stories about how he murdered cats when he was our age."
Yeah, that's
Fair.
that's definitely fair.
So that was traumatizing memory. Now that I think about
I'm in a bad mood now.
I told you if you like cats, cover your ears.
You should have covered your ears, Oscar.
What? It's hard when I'm.
Oh God.
There. Can do it with my knee.
Shit, man.
Yeah. So anybody else had weird teachers?
I'm good. We're done with the
Whoa,
podcast.
That's it for see you next week.
That's only one weird teacher, interesting
Damn.
teacher
Okay,
that I had.
now I feel like I should talk about my teacher, because I feel like it's nowhere near as bad. If anything, my teacher it was just, I don't want to talk about it first because it was just us bullying the teacher.
Oh.
I can't say what we called her because it's too close to her name.
Okay.
But we just took part of her name out and we placed it with Nazi because she was okay. We didn't just go, you're mean to us, you're a Nazi. we read part of this. I forgot what was the book called. It was like called like Parallel Journeys, something like that. It's a book. It's about the story of these two kids. One of them was a Jew in Germany during the Nazi invasion, and another one was like a Nazi like child who was like going into, like, you know how they had like
This is like the boy in the striped pajamas, but not.
remember Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah.
You know how they have like those programs for the kids, and they're like, yeah, one of them was he was
He was Hitler Youth.
He was Hitler Youth. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was Hitler Youth, and then this girl was like, like Jewish trying to survive Nazi invaded Germany. Nazi invaded. It was Nazi. It was Germany. Yeah. But like, and so it was like all that stuff, and we read and did so much research on just like Nazi stuff and like Hitler and all this stuff to try and like go through and understand. And she said things like, he was a little extreme, but if you kind of think about like what he wanted and what he tried to do, Hitler wasn't too bad.
Oh, no.
And we said, excuse me? Another thing that she did is whenever, this had nothing to do with necessarily with like the Nazi books that we read, 'cause she was our English teacher, but whenever she wanted to like get our attention, she would raise her hand like this and say, "Are you with me? Is everyone with me?"
She put her hand
with me?
in the Nazi position. Hell, Hitler position.
Yeah.
Just a little bit like.
Just a
with
little-
little
her-
bit.
Like
yeah.
it wasn't straight up, but it was like,
Well, that demonetized.
I'll blur the hands.
There is no monetization.
I'll
but
blur
we're
the
demonetized.
Oh, God. No,
gosh.
and it's interesting that you say like you guys kind of basically bullied her for that aspect, but like growing
But she was
up.
like, maybe Hitler had a point.
Well, no, maybe not that Hitler had a point, but like growing up, like you've heard those conversations where people say, we're never gonna respect him or talk about him as if he did the right thing, but like he was smart and he
Yeah. And,
he
like,
was
he was,
a
like, a
he was
great
like a
leader.
leader, like
Charismatic.
Yeah.
he got an entire group of
Nation.
nation to do what he wanted. Like
Convinced them it was the right thing to do.
horrendous. Yeah, he convinced him it was the right thing to do. It was horrendous and it was horrible, but you can't say he was a dumb person.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's why people are like, "Oh my God, he's crazy." I'm like, no, he's fully in his right mind.
I mean, all evil
Yeah, just-
villains and like made up stories and like movies and everything. They're all very smart people,
'Cause
no matter
this
how
is-
bad of like the things they do.
Hitler's someone I bring up a lot. Hitler and just like the Nazis in general, someone I bring up a lot whenever I'm trying to make the point of there truly is when in the grand scheme of things, of course, you gotta remember that. The grand scheme of things, there's no good and evil.
Yeah.
There's simply your point of view.
Yeah,
Because
and
from the point of view of like the people who like subscribe to the Nazi faith in Germany, they were like, Hitler will lead us to a
better
place,
world.
he's doing good things for us. This is good for us.
Yeah.
He's good. The Jews are bad. Everything he says is bad because he's right. He's smart. Look at him.
Right.
Kind of thing. It's insane. But no, yeah, there's like just so we called her blank Nazi. There's also times where she just I remember there's this one story of a student who wasn't feeling so good being in this class, right? And our teacher was explaining some kind of like anecdote of her life. So not teaching, but saying something that happened to her in her life.
Yeah.
And she was like, ma'am, I have to go to the restroom. Can I? And she was like, no, please do not speak when I'm speaking. Okay? It's very disrespectful. I would appreciate it if you didn't do that. She would keep going. She's like, hey, teacher, please, I really have to go. No, please. You're being very rude. If you do that again, there's going to be consequences. And then you know what this girl did? She threw up.
Oh.
She threw up in class, trying to tell this woman that she was like, I'm not feeling good.
Yeah.
I need to go to the restroom.
Yeah.
And you know what this woman said afterwards? Oh, honey, why didn't you say anything?
Oh, God.
She was one of those teachers.
I hated
One of those
that.
teachers.
See, I'm like, when you get to like high school or like college level, I will forever understand a teacher that's just like, actually pay attention to me and don't talk when I'm trying to teach you something. But when you're dealing with kids and one of them is like, yo, I'm trying to get your attention for a reason. Like, I get you want to tell me the story, you want me to learn something, but if I need your attention, it's probably, you probably want to know what's going on. Or even if it was just a dumb question, like, you're a kid, let them talk. It's not like you're going to get through them any less if you let them speak. But interesting.
Yeah. The final thing I will say about this teacher is we all really truly felt like she was out to get us. Like, she had so we had a chalkboard, right? And then we also had the projector screen that would come over it.
Yeah.
She would write stuff on the chalkboard, then put the projector screen over it, and we'd walk into class. She wouldn't be in the classroom. 2 minutes would pass by. She would show up and be like, hey, so did you all do the assignment? We're like, wait, what do you mean? She goes, this one. And we're like,
the one you couldn't see when you walked in.
Because I remember this was one of the like my pre-AP English class. The reason that, and it's funny because I actually have to thank her for where I am right now in life, because the reason that I got pulled out of football and like my whole athletic drive kind of stopped was because I was pulled out of football because I was failing her class. And then coincidentally, when I was pulled out of our athletics, which is like PE, but if you are in athletics, you have to be in football. Otherwise, they put you in regular PE. So when they pulled me out of athletics, I coincidentally got pulled out of her class and put into a different teacher's class. I tried to tell my mom, I'm like, I'm telling you, it's the teacher.
Yeah.
She's insane.
We really do be the teachers sometimes.
My mother didn't believe me. I went from having a 62 in English to like straight A's because I now had a normal teacher. And I was like, wow, look at that. I wonder what happened there.
Something
Interesting.
Something similar happened to me in math, my 8th semester when I got to geometry. My first teacher taught. You remember the overhead projectors?
Yeah.
Where they would write in like the markers.
On the transparent, like,
yeah. Well, the way he taught is he would talk as he was writing and explaining it to us and as he was doing the equations, and right when he got to the bottom of the page he erased everything.
Damn.
And he's like, you should have been writing with me.
Oh my God.
But the thing about that is, like, if I'm writing with you, all I'm focused on is getting everything onto my page. I can't hear you explaining it. I'm not paying attention to that. And so basically the only way to pass his class would be to come after school and do the tutoring with him, where he would make sure basically that you passed the homeworks and anything. And like, if you failed a test, like you would still be okay because you passed all the homework because you worked with him after school.
Yeah.
But he's also a little bit creepy because he only worked with the girls after school. Yeah. And this is middle school, remember that. I had a bunch of creepy, messed up teachers. Let's just say that. But he only worked with the girls, so when I would come after school, it wouldn't even be worth my time trying to get in a lesson with him, because I was also in band and I did sports and I had other things to do after school. So I'm like, I'm supposed to get in, get help, pass, and get out, but you're not giving me the time to do that. And when he would come to me, like, I'd be like, sir, get over here. You're wasting my time. He would sit down and be like, this is that. Why don't you understand that? Do it. I'm going to go help somebody else. And so I was hardcore failing geometry for the first semester. And then I asked to move to another class. And with this teacher, I passed all the stuff we were doing, but I was so hardcore failing that by the end of the semester, I had by the end of the school year, I had a 69, and I wasn't passing it, and I failed. I had failed geometry. This was the very last day of school, and I was told by her that I didn't pass the class and I'd have to retake it. And after school happened, I went to her room, and I was like, I was this good kid. I was a very good kid. But I used that against her. I went to her room and I was like, is there anything I can do to make up the points? As if like there was still time to do extra credit and like go home and do homework and turn it back in. This was the very last day of middle school.
Like the grades are all in.
Like everybody's out. Everybody's left the building. I'm the last child here.
It's 10 p.m.
Asking if I can do extra credit. Right. And so I was like,
we're in her living room.
But I'm like,
what could I do?
I'm standing there in the doorway. I'm like, is there any extra credit? Blah, blah, blah. Like I really tried. I had a hard semester, about, buttering her up. And she was like, you know what? She said, what grade did you get? I said 69. She said, it's a 70. Go ahead. Go. And like, she passed me. And if I was someone who genuinely finessed my way and didn't try, then I'd be pissed at myself. But like, it was a situation where the school system literally failed somebody.
Yeah.
So I was not about to have to take that class over again with those same teachers. No, wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I think even if you get a D in North Carolina, you still have to like retake the class. Like you don't pass it. Like you just barely passed it, and they're like,
it's not good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out a way to segue all this. 'Cause, like, what the
this is
fuck
dark.
have we been?
Yeah. The beginning of this is kind of dark.
But I did get reminded of, 'cause since we're on the subject of teachers, I had a science teacher in 7th grade, I think, or 8th grade, and everyone in the class was like, dude, she has a beard. Like she's like 25 and she has like a beard. And
25.
Yeah.
That was old for us back then.
Dude, she's like 25.
They would say that. They'd be like, yeah, dude, she's 25. She has a beard though.
Did she have a beard?
Did she actually?
Here's the thing. I never fucking saw it.
Oh.
Everyone was like, gross. That's a beard. They have a beard.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, people were just being assholes. And then one of the students, for like the last day of class, like, cause okay, I don't know if you guys did this, but like my parents were basically like, you have to thank your teachers, bring them like a goodie bag thing type situation, like, and be like, thank you for. So this one kid was like, I'm gonna get her a razor. Oh. And he like gave her a razor the last day of class, and she was just like, I watched her take it, look at it, and be like, what?
Oh no.
And then I went up to her and be like, I was like, thank you for the class, and all that, and she was like, no problem. And then I saw hairs, but it was like nothing.
Yeah.
But like, just it's just guys
it's just,
being like, oh,
it's like guys being
disgusting.
like, oh my goodness, a lady has hair on her face.
Yeah.
It's a freaking beard.
It's a beard.
Yeah, because I was so confused. Everyone was like,
Yeah.
you can't see that fucking beard? That giant freaking survival Bear Grylls motherfucking beard?
And then there was those same guys in high school were like, you don't see my fucking beard.
Right. They
You
barely
don't see my beard, dude.
Exactly. Oh my god. They had like 3 hairs and you're like,
They're like,
bro, it's filling out.
It's not peach fuzz, dude. It's a whole goatee. All right.
Okay. Wow.
God.
Freaking
Damn.
That's messed up.
No.
What is that? What is that? As kids, it's either we're horrible to teachers or they're not really fit for the job.
Yeah.
We bully them.
Yeah, because she was super nice and like taught us really well. But she had a beard.
But it's like it's always one way or the other. Like the children are just disrespectful to kids, or children are disrespectful to teachers, or the teacher probably needed a better background check.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of going off segment because this was technically elementary school.
Okay.
But kind of just following the trend of kids being mean to their teachers. I had one of the nicest teachers I ever had. Her name was Miss Matovich, and this was first grade. I'm like ghetto ass school. She was this really nice white woman, really young, like probably just got out of college, like for teaching, whatever, teaching first graders. Of course, we're all hoodlums, so we'd be like, I mean, I personally, this was something that I like kind of drew the line on. Like I was a bad kid or whatever.
Yeah. But
I was like, I like this teacher. I think this is uncalled for. But a lot of the kids called her Miss Mad Bitch, even though she was never. It was just never rude to us. Never. Yeah. I still have a picture of her with me, like to this day, because I think she did this for all the kids, but like she wrote like a little note and like printed it out. And
she's like a genuinely nice, like good teacher.
She was a wonderful teacher
that cared about the kids.
And I remember I think the reason that I still remember it is because there was a point where I think I saw her like cry because somebody wrote it on the board.
Oh God.
Like Miss Mad Bitch or something like that.
Yeah, that's
and
terrible.
Like it was after, because she's not stupid, you know.
Yeah.
And it was after it happening for a while. And I guess that was just like the final straw. She was just like, I can't with these kids.
I'm just trying to think, like, what is it
makes kids the worst?
That makes kids, like, because we were those kids. Like, and either we participated or we didn't say anything to help. Yeah. Like, what makes it kids feel like that's the right way to behave?
I think it's because as kids, we still don't have that much experience with consequence. Like the only things that we've experienced so far with consequences, I've fallen and I hurt myself, or I did something bad to my parents and they grounded me. Yeah. But other than that, we don't have empathy. And like
there's no there's gravitas. There's no respect for like your
the filter
elders,
is not developed yet.
As long as like it should be earned, that respect. I think so.
It definitely should. Like I definitely don't think, like you said, it should be earned. I definitely don't believe a teacher should just expect to meet their kids and everybody is chill with them and does everything. But at the same time, like, you've had this teacher for half a year and you decide we're going to call her names and we're going to draw on the board and slander her whole family. Like, it's sad. And like, it's that saying that teachers deserve better. But then I feel like the thing that contradicts that is the teacher's like the cat killer teacher that I had. Like, there's such an imbalance of good teachers and bad teachers that I think a kid might come from a teacher that they don't like and then take it out on the teacher that's an easy target.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was that?
What was that gasp? Jordan gasped, and I want to know what it was
about.
Reacted.
It's nowhere near similar.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nowhere near similar, but it was similar enough.
Yeah.
For me to go, what? Because so there's this little voice that went, not all cops are bad.
I don't want to get into that on the podcast.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that. This shit's dark enough.
Right. That'll probably be seasons from now. But the only thing I'll say is that's systematic problems versus
teachers being weird.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Speaking of, I know we're just talking about teachers being weird and interestingly difficult, but I had another teacher that liked to throw objects at kids. But it was like
style.
For the
nice.
Exactly. I mean, but like for the most part it was harmless. Like, she would pick up the lightest objects, like an eraser to the end of a pencil or something, and throw it. Like, and we would all laugh about it whenever someone was like being interruptive. Assaulted. Or like, she would laugh, we would laugh. Oh, they dodged it, haha. Yeah. Or, oh, it got him. But one day someone was actually like making her mad and like pushing her limits, and I guess she just didn't look at what she grabbed. And this was in science, and she
Please tell me
grabbed.
it's a stapler.
Yeah.
No. Not a stapler. No.
He's so excited. He's so excited.
Y'all are so excited to hear me say she grabbed a stapler.
She grabbed a
No,
stapler.
she grabbed a pair of scissors.
Oh,
that's
But she grabbed a pair of scissors and she just chunked them at this kid.
Yikes.
And I was like, I'm in the back room, and I immediately saw her face right after they left her hand. And she was like mortified, like that was not what she wanted. But and this kid was a bad kid, like, you know, the class.
He deserves scissors.
I would
in
say
his
class
face.
clown, but nobody liked him because he was a bad kid. But he ran with it because it didn't hit him, but it came close to hitting him.
Okay.
And he ran with it. He was like, "I'm gonna get you fired." He made a big scene and left the classroom. And she was like, obviously, like, he could get her fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she believed it, like you could see on her face. But she ended up being fine. I'm not sure if he actually went through with saying anything.
Fine.
Twist.
Plot twist.
But
She got away with it.
Yeah, she got away with it. But I think I feel like he did say something to somebody, but I think the other kids in class were like, "No, it wasn't like that." I think like kids actually stood up for her because, I mean, we had good times with her, and she obviously didn't mean to, and she did stop throwing things at kids after that.
That's probably for the best.
That's probably for the definitely for the best. She stopped throwing stuff at us, but I will never forget the look on her face.
God damn.
When she
I
threw
can
those
imagine.
scissors.
Yeah.
No, I had a teacher who had a slingshot, and she was against me once.
It's
where,
big.
I guess I was talking to the kid right next to me, and I think she told me to be quiet once, and I didn't register because I was speaking.
He said, "Ma'am, I'm speaking."
I was just talking to this guy, and then she just, wait a second. Okay. I genuinely don't remember how this happened, but I have a vivid memory of both of them. So it either hit me in the mouth, which is what I think happened, right? It like hit me in the mouth, and I was like, what? You know?
Yeah.
But for some reason, my memory is more clear, and I think I convinced myself that it didn't happen because I'm like, I'm not that cool. But I think I remember because she was sitting like literally directly across from us. There was nobody really in front of us, and we were talking like right here. I think I remember seeing her load up the little ball that she had, and it lit up. So in my mind, I was like, I'm about to get slingshotted. And she flung it, and I remember going and catching it.
Ooh.
But I think I convinced myself that did not happen. You know? But I remember that more, and I remember the reaction of the class more vividly than people being like, LOL, he got hit, because people get hit all the time.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I remember seeing this little ball glow up, and I'm going and catching that shit.
Isn't it
I
great?
genuinely don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's great how our brains are just not trustworthy.
Honestly,
Ever.
that's so like
with memories.
there's so many memories that may or may not have been true.
Yeah.
I want to say something regarding you catching the ball out of instinct,
Yeah.
but I know it's going to transition
Into a much deeper
into
kind
what we want to talk about.
Okay.
I know what he's
Do we
talking
want
about.
to go into that now?
Not now. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because
Today's
I mean,
not the day.
I'm gonna no. I was gonna bring up a time that my reflexes saved the day for me, and I don't know how it happened. You know, it was like instinctive, but it relates to a scene in a certain movie that we're gonna bring up in my corner.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh my god. Okay.
Is it every?
Are we? We can.
I'm ready.
I thought because I thought you were talking about.
The mic. Use the mic.
I thought. Listen. That's how I'm like.
He's like,
Because you're talking about like when you died. Is that what you're gonna talk
No.
about? Okay, because I thought that you're gonna talk about when
Oh,
you died.
no.
And I was like, if we're gonna start talking about death, that's another day. That's another
That's
day.
definitely another day. That's
That's
definitely another
podcast, another episode. It's
podcast.
another season.
Um,
But you know what? Go ahead. If it's not that story, go ahead.
okay.
You know what?
So
Yeah.
your instincts, reflexes, you caught this ball that she slingshotted at you. When I
Here we go.
was in band, we had lockers that we kept our stuff in, and at the end of band, I went to put my trombone back in the locker, but my locker had my backpack, my water bottle, and my lunch in there. And when I opened the locker, it was the top locker shelf, everything fell out. And somehow, holding my trombone in my left hand, I got my right arm through the strap of my backpack. I caught the water bottle, and I caught everything basically in the matter of seconds that it was falling. And don't know how it happened. I wasn't thinking about doing it, but it happened. And it was similar to a scene in Spider-Man, the famous Spider-Man where...
The famous Spider-Man.
The first Spider-Man?
Yeah, Tobey Maguire
with the tray
at lunch, and he catches Gwen after slipping and catches all her items
Mary Jane.
perfectly. Mary Jane, not
Embarrassing.
Gwen. Is it embarrassing?
Uncredited. Everything he says from now on about Spider-Man.
No.
You know so many different Spider-Man movies. It's either Mary Jane or Gwen, so don't even come at me. But this is a perfect transition into my corner, because today I want to talk about Tom Holland versus Tobey Maguire. Who's the better Spider-Man?
Okay, wait. I have a question.
No.
What's the question?
Because now that we're making this like an actual official thing, as
Yes.
opposed to just like
Just talking
banter.
about it, yeah.
Are we gonna make it Tom Holland versus Tobey Maguire? Or are we gonna be like, who's the best Spider-Man? Because then we have to also include our friend Andrew Garfield.
No, I don't think
No.
we have to.
I don't. We're not. Andrew Garfield is not a part of this conversation.
Okay, so just making
because
sure from the
he's-
beginning,
Yeah,
we don't have
no,
to talk about him.
because he's not a part of the.
Love you, Andrew.
I don't. But
At all?
you're there. You were definitely there.
Conversation. Better Spider-Man, Tom Holland or Tobey Maguire?
Okay, here's what I. Okay.
Defend yourself.
Defend
right.
yourself, because Oscar and I are about to wreck your life.
Okay, because again, we have. How do I explain this in a simple way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there is a simple way.
I feel like there is, but I just haven't found it. So when we say better Spider-Man, because you can look, because the way, especially when we first had this conversation,
Yes.
you were looking at it as all-around representation of the Spider-Man character from the comics.
Yes.
Right.
That's how I was looking at it.
And I
originally.
was like, you know what? Yes, I agree with that. But I felt like, as like a hero, like as, because I remember the way that I was saying, this is the easiest way I feel like I could explain it, was me saying, if you didn't know who Peter Parker was, so the whole Peter Parker aspect doesn't apply.
Yeah.
Which I know you already like, but Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
No. Like I'm fully on board with these guidelines for this moment.
But I was like, all right, but yeah, Peter Parker doesn't apply. So we have Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi Spider-Man, we'll call it that. Sam Raimi
Okay.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then the Marvel Universe is Spider-Man, right? And I don't know, let's say some Spider-Man villain. I was about to say that hasn't been on TV. I was gonna say the Rhino, but he's technically been.
Technically. Yeah.
Well, no, because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So let's say
So it's okay.
the Rhino was coming towards you and was like, "I'm gonna beat you up," and you had to pick between the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man and Sam Raimi Spider-Man to back you up in this fight. I would pick Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Why?
Yes, please
Because
explain.
throughout the films that I've seen, I feel like he can take the most damage and he can deal the most damage. That's really how I feel. I really feel like he is a better fighter. He's more athletic, and he's stronger than. And of course, there's the whole thing about how he's like an adult and he has that whole thing for him. And yeah, like Marvel Spider-Man is still just a kid and he has a long way to go. But it's kind of like, you know, it's like, yeah, he's an adult, so he's bigger, he's stronger. He's faster.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man has like radioactive powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus.
But here's the thing though.
Does
Here's the
They
thing.
never
No,
explained
they don't explain
MCU.
that. But here's the thing. Both Spider-Mans have the same powers. Like you said, Sam
difference
Raimi
is the
Spider-Man is
organic
stronger. But I don't think that's necessarily true. I think Marvel Spider-Man is just as strong. Tom Holland, that Spider-Man, is just as strong as the Spider-Man that Tobey Maguire played. It's just you see Tobey Maguire get beat up a lot more. Like, Tobey Maguire got his ass handed to him time and time and again, and he still got back up. And that was kind of the purpose of that Spider-Man, is to get back up. But Tom Holland Spider-Man, you see him in a freaking plane crash, he gets back up. You see him get hit by a train and he gets back up. You see him get a building knocked on him and he gets back up. It's just in the movies, that's not the purpose.
Right.
The focus isn't him getting back up. It's there's other struggles that he's going through with being a child and dealing with also trying to save the world.
I think in that moment though, when in Homecoming, when the building gets put on him and like he's crushed,
It's like,
that's when he's like, oh, I have to get back up.
That was a very defining moment of Spider-Man getting back up.
They even put it in the game.
Yeah.
The game,
the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Oh,
there's a little mini scene in the first mission that's kind of like similar to it.
Yeah,
where he's holding it and it's crushing him. And he goes,
And I'm just like, and I think, because along with Spider-Man's abilities, they both, and that's why I'm like, I think they're both the same, because they both acquire super strength and acquire the Spidey senses, and throughout like the movie, you see Tom Holland Spider-Man learning how to use those senses. Yeah. It's just like I said,
negated them in the first movie.
But like, I think for Tom Holland Spider-Man, it's more about the growing as a superhero than it is in Tobey Maguire's, where it's like Tobey Maguire, he's the first Spider-Man we see depicted. So it's like we don't see his journey growing as a superhero. It's like, this is the superhero and this is what he's going through.
He's like, he becomes the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Exactly.
And that's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and dude,
and still, and I was smiling through your whole little thing about if we didn't know the person behind the mask, I would still pick Tom Holland Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man.
Exactly. Hold on. You're talking Rhino right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's like a D-list villain.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, but like I meant like
Tom
big
Holland
buff
Spider-Man.
The first
you hate.
Yeah,
I don't
who you hate.
hate.
Well,
you're
you're saying you wouldn't have him back you in a fight.
You're right.
He took
I'm
on
saying I would.
Thanos.
The
Literally
snap himself.
Thanos.
You're saying that
And
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man couldn't take on Thanos?
He would take on Thanos after getting freaking wrecked.
Yes.
Tom Holland,
I don't think
Spider-Man took on Thanos without I think Thanos got one good punch on him.
Yeah.
Because his Spidey senses he was in his element.
I don't think
on another planet.
I don't think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, like, of course, like, you know, like they're older movies, so it's not going to be flashy and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as smart as Tom Holland.
Yeah.
I don't think that either. I think
he's definitely not.
I think they definitely put a lot more of the whole he's a child genius into,
because he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
He invents all his own technology.
In Raimi's films, they were just like, he's in college, look at him, he's top of his class. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. But they definitely put a lot of more emphasis on he's a genius. They tried that with Amazing Spider-Man.
They tried
and then they did it even more in MCU, which I think is also like you said, it's kind of unfair because
it's progressing each time.
With Tobey Maguire, he's the first one.
Yeah.
So it's each one. They're like, all right, this is what worked. This is what didn't. Let's add this. Let's move. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So of course it's gonna get
it didn't work
better.
with Amazing Spider-Man. So.
It didn't work with Amazing Spider-Man, but they tried.
Progression aside, you still say that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, you would prefer to have him as a superhero in a fight with you.
Let's picture for a moment, just for one moment, just for a moment.
I'm here.
My eyes are closed.
Okay, let's
Infinity War, right? But instead of Tom Holland, it's Tobey Maguire. Like Tobey Maguire, because remember originally I think they were trying to, because they mentioned in like Iron Man 1. Whoa, chill out.
No, I'm so sorry.
In Iron Man 1, there's that deleted scene where Samuel L. Jackson's like radioactive spiders, all that jazz, and it seemed like they were gonna put them together. But just picture somehow I can't. Somehow,
I don't.
Tobey
I'm
Maguire
listening.
ends
I'm
up
listening.
with Iron Man and the crew,
Mm-hmm.
and he's part of this fight with Thanos. Why is this so?
Because
funny?
right when you said imagine Tobey Maguire in like with the Avengers and all that, the first thing I saw is that he dies. I imagine like Tobey Maguire in that fight
Like
with him.
dies?
I saw him being killed by Thanos.
Like crushed.
Like,
Not snapped, but dies.
no,
dies.
like dies, not snapped. I saw him being one of the people that got in Thanos' way, and Thanos killed him.
Yeah, cause what, like, I'm not even just talking like, oh, like he's smart, like he's a genius.
No,
The way he fights is smarter
It's
than
smart.
what.
yeah,
Whatever.
he doesn't
Peter
just
Parker's
he doesn't
doing.
just
Because
throw.
Peter Parker gets in, he gets up in the way,
Yeah,
and then he's like, I can take them on.
right.
Tom Holland's like, I'm small, I can dodge, and then I
Right.
can fucking like.
Tom
That is
Holland
something
used
that I-
Tom Holland used like when he was fighting Thanos, Tom Holland Spider-Man, he used like Thanos, made the wreckage and all the rocks were floating. He used that against him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man would have just went in head first like he did in every
Tobey
fight.
Maguire is a brawler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like that would have
absolutely.
got him
'Cause
killed.
that's something that I this is in the beginning of the movie, but with that first like attack on New York, where that I don't know his name, but the big guy that was fighting Iron Man and then Spider-Man just shows up,
yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here? Field trip to MoMA."
Right. Yeah.
There's a moment in that I liked. Whenever I watch it, I can't help but to go back and watch it over and over again because I don't remember who throws it, but somehow half of a taxi cab gets thrown into the air,
Yeah.
and then Spider-Man, Tom Holland here,
Yeah.
he does like this weird flip thing, and then he like calculates how everything works and
Yeah.
velocity and all that stuff,
And he redirects.
he grabs that thing,
Yeah.
and it goes, and then like the angles and everything are
Yeah.
perfect. It makes so much mathematical sense,
Yeah.
and it's so satisfying.
And like he
and he
that's
redirects it to him.
and that's the
I'm
thing, like
that's
he
cool.
Tom Holland Spider-Man in any he just became this kid and he's trying to be a superhero now and it's all the sudden happening for him, but in every situation he sees he can do that in a split second, whereas I mean of course it's like progression, he's supposed to be that smart inherently before the powers, but and I guess that is like Tobey Maguire didn't have that writing, but
Because Spider-Man 1 came out in what, 2000?
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah,
Well, it came out in
2001.
came out in
2002 because
I remember originally there's an original
Oh,
trailer.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Had
then
the Twin Towers in it.
Yeah, 9/11 happened
Yeah.
and it was
9/11 happened,
postponed.
and it came out in 2002.
But like I said before, progression aside, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man does not survive these fights that Tom Holland goes through.
But that's what I'm saying. What I think though is that like he gets his shit rocked,
Yeah.
but no matter what happens, he's able to get back. And that's what I guess admire.
Yeah.
him. This man takes a grenade to the face.
Yeah.
In his first movie.
And that's like the thing. That's Spider-Man's powers. He's super strength. A grenade's not going to kill him.
But that's this,
Like if you can get hit by a
Tom
train and
ever take a
survive,
grenade to the face.
he gets. I'm sorry, but getting hit by a train moving full speed is worse than
It
a
was like
grenade
a
blowing
bullet
up in your
train,
face.
I mean-
too. It wasn't just
Yeah,
like a
it was
fucking
supposed
train.
in Tom Holland's when he got hit by a train, it was meant to be the fastest train created at that time. Like it was a bullet train. Like Oscar said, he got wrecked by it and got back up. Like that is way worse than a grenade. But
then
that's Spider-Man's
I'm thinking
strength.
about Spider-Man 2 when he wasn't hit by a bullet train, but this guy was hit by a train.
Yeah.
And he didn't just because like Tom Holland here. It's always hard because they both names start with T.
Yeah.
Tom Holland was hit by a bullet train and woke up on the train, right? So I think what I think happened, because
he was
black and
he
woke up on the
he
train.
was knocked out and he was
I thought he was like in a field after that, and then Happy came and landed in that.
Is that what happened? I don't remember.
No,
I have to watch the.
we're all wrong.
Yeah, we're all wrong.
For Tom Holland, it was I just saw it. He got hit. He was tricked. Jake Gyllenhaal's character was pretending to be Fury, and he backed him into the line of the
Yeah,
train.
he backed him into the train. He got hit.
But we're all wrong because let me fast forward. He's getting, he's thinking train hits him.
And he's like, "Sorry, kid.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
gonna go kill your friends."
right. But the thing is, he wasn't knocked out. Because right after this, okay, he's just talking. Give me a second. Right after this, boom. He's still conscious, holding on to the bottom of the train, and then climbing up the side of it.
And then he passes out on the train. That's why I remember him waking up on the train.
But here's the thing, also, he did wake up on the train. He passed out on it, but I think if he passed out on the train because he was no longer in danger. Like, if Jake Gyllenhaal was on that train somehow after he had gotten hit, I think he would have kept fighting. Because he would have had to, you know? But Jake Gyllenhaal just wanted him out of the way. He's on a train.
At least this is personally, it looks like
he can't take it anymore.
He would have been able to.
It does look like that, but how many times does Tobey Maguire get hit and it looks like he can't take it anymore? But he has to keep fighting.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, he's a kid. I mean, and we've just established he's a smart kid.
Yeah.
He's in a point where he knows he doesn't have to keep fighting right now for his life, which is what he's been doing, up against an opponent that is literally making reality.
He has the reality stone,
basically. But when it comes to power level, I think they have identical strength and power. It's just situational if you need to get back up and keep going.
We kind of I like how we started off really like butting heads, but now it seems like we've reached a point where we're like, Spider-Man is the guy that gets back up no matter what.
Right.
No matter what.
I mean, I'm still here to say that Tom Holland's the better Spider-Man day in, day out. Because
I will agree with you on the fact that as a whole, when we talk about Peter Parker, Spider-Man, the best representation of Spider-Man, it is Tom Holland.
Okay, so rather than have who would you want on your side more, put them in a ring together. Who comes out?
Still,
I
Tom
say
Holland.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah?
Tom Holland, because we just talked about this. Tom Holland, I think their power levels are the same. Tom Holland outsmarts Tobey Maguire.
Okay, fair. And
in a fight, that's literally what they say. It doesn't matter how big you are. If you are smarter, you will win. That's literally Iron Man. He goes against people 10 times his strength, and he wins every time because he's the smartest one of them all.
He didn't win that one time, though.
Damn.
That one time when he won by dying? You mean?
That's a spoiler.
To who? I'm sorry, if you hadn't watched it.
About Infinity War.
2 years ago.
I was talking about Infinity War, though.
Yeah.
2 years
ago.
Or was it last? It was last year.
No, it was.
No.
It was last year.
Endgame was last year.
2019.
The beginning of 2019, like March
Yeah.
or something.
It was last year.
March?
Something like it wasn't 2018.
It wasn't 2018 because it was the beginning of the year.
Damn, I don't remember.
Like towards it.
I think it was April.
Yes, because there's
Yeah.
But if that was a spoiler for you, catch up. I'm so sorry.
Catch up.
Get good. I don't know.
But yeah, like Tobey Maguire, he loses the fight against Tom Holland. He just does.
I don't know. I'll always stick up for my boy Tobey.
Who won? Who's next?
You decide. Oh God.
You know what?
I mean,
you know who loses? Andrew Garfield.
And
he is the ultimate loser. You know
Andrew Garfield.
Why? Wait, no. Let's not hate on Andrew.
We're not hating on him. We're hating on his Spider-Man.
We're hating on the writing.
The writing, yeah.
It's not your fault.
I don't know. I just it's like my problem with Ezra Miller's Flash. I just don't.
I mean, no, that's
like
also the thing. I don't see. It's the same for me. Andrew Garfield is not Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was way too cool.
Yeah, Spider-Man's.
He was way too cool.
That's
way
why.
Too cool.
That's what's messed up about the writing. Spider-Man's not a cool, smooth guy. You know, he's like cool in the eyes of like the watchers and the people that read the comics because he's funny and he's like level-headed and smart. But he's like, he sits at the nerd table. Like he sits with the losers of the school.
Even the nerds don't want to sit with Peter Parker.
Yeah.
What a dork.
He's bullied.
And then in Amazing Spider-Man, while he's about to kiss someone, he goes and catches a football. You're like, wow, that's the coolest thing.
And then he's like, cool, and then skates off.
No, and then he
Fucking
throws.
bitch.
I think.
Fucking bitch. Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, fucking amazing. It's not amazing at all. Anyway, I gotta go.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You good there?
Also, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man was the writing, the way that they wrote it. It was he did the worst at hiding that he was Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
Literally.
When he caught that football, he threw it at a goalpost and it
Literally.
bent it.
If I was in that world and I knew of or like was around Andrew Garfield when he did anything as Andrew Garfield or Peter Parker, my bad.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Garfield.
That's kind of strange to me that you were able to do that. Are your hands fine? You say. Interesting.
Like, he's Spider-Man.
I'm like, I only know of one other person that could do something
also,
like that.
He was also like, oh yeah, I'm just a protein shake. I don't know.
Right.
Also, though, there were those scenes in Homecoming where Ned and Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Peter Parker. They were like, "Oh yeah, that's Captain America. I fought him. I grabbed his shield." And people around him are like, "Excuse me, what?"
But like also, it works for him, I think, because they're just like, these two fucking nerds.
Right. Unlike
role playing
Right.
right now.
No,
in
no,
the middle of
truly,
class.
because they have the scene. They have the party scene where you see just how not seriously they take Tom Holland's character.
Yeah.
Like anything he says is like, oh, it's Peter Parker, loser
you know
boy.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, of course you know Spider-Man. Ew.
What's wrong with
Coronavirus? Is that what you're doing right now?
coronavirus?
Jordan sneezed. Luckily, he did in his shirt, so I'm not gonna beat him up.
Unbelievable.
But I think we're gonna have to end this because I'm fearing for my life.
cams.
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
I'm trying to find the like best way to be like sadness, and you know what came to mind?
What?
Meteor.
Oh,
Meteor. Oh, okay. I know for a fact everybody listening to this has to have seen this video by now.
Meteor.
That is the funniest thing of it. Hey, did you make
so
the meteor?
That. You said
A meteor?
a meteor.
Meteor. Meteor. Meteor.
Oh, man.
That is
Wow.
one
And
of
it's funny because it's one of those things. It's one of those things you're like, wow, that's so simple. How
And
did
it's-
I not ever? How did it never occur to
Yeah.
me?
You know,
It's because I'm just not funny.
and you know the thing about it is like
That's what it boils down to for all of us, I think.
you think the thing about it is that this is on Twitter and TikTok right now, and it is blown up in the matter of hours, but now days, and it's still funny, and people are making memes about it. But her Twitter page, like she's actually like that's her job. She goes and finds dinosaur bones and does all this stuff. And she literally just made a joke, and she in the description said she didn't. It's probably not that funny. But now she's like got this whole a whole bunch of followers on Twitter and everything from one joke
Meteor.
about like her job and the reasoning for her job. But that is
So good.
phenomenally.
Remember when we all hated Musically?
I mean, I still hate Musically.
And-
Still a thing.
No, Musically is what became TikTok.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Oh.
Vine became Musically, that became TikTok.
No, I feel like it's a little different because Vine was Vine, and then it ended. And then they made
But
Musically.
Yeah,
And then
Musically
was
transformed
like literally
into a new platform
we're gonna
called TikTok.
change it a little bit, and they
Yeah.
made TikTok. So the original
Okay,
TikToks
yeah.
That's true.
were just more Musically.
Musicallys.
That makes a lot of
That's
sense.
true,
And then
but
it slowly evolved as more people
it's still
joined.
like the thing where it's not the same
That's more
platform
like
that
it's
evolved.
an audio platform where
Yeah.
like, you take audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's still
okay.
like Musically was born out of the shadow of Vine.
Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
we need something
Yeah.
Musically.
And they were like, it can't be the same, so let's pertain it to one
People
thing.
said, we hate this.
Yeah, everybody
Well,
hated
'cause I think
Musically.
it came out at the same while Vine was still up.
Yeah,
right?
it was
just,
trying to
like,
be
at the
Vine's
end,
competitor,
yeah.
and then Vine died instantly after it
Musically
came
was
out.
like, here we come.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Scandal.
And it was because all the Vine...
You heard it here first. Musically
weak.
killed Vine.
Musically killed Vine, but the
Killed
thing
Vine.
is, all the Vine stars went to YouTube,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
why. That's really why
For better
nobody.
or for worse.
Yeah, for But that's really what nobody did musically, because all the best entertainers on Vine got YouTube channels and everybody just watched them instead of trying to make their own. Yeah.
But then it became TikTok, and at
How
first
did we
everybody was
get
like,
here?
we hate TikTok. Oh,
Yeah.
How did we get here?
I
Meteor.
You sneezed.
And then
Meteor.
and Meteor,
TikTok.
music.
Got it. Well, we've officially
Meteor.
gone too far.
Wow. Full.
Time to wrap it up.
Time to wrap it up. Middle school was interesting.
Yeah, middle school.
Yeah, middle school. I'm glad I didn't tell my embarrassing stories, actually.
Oh.
No. Yes.
I mean, maybe we should just say one of them at the very end.
Wow, you didn't say any of them.
You did not tell any of your
All right,
stories.
pick one.
At least one, because they look
That's true.
interesting.
Oh, that's true. Well, because I just talked about the teacher. Because it was just a tangent.
Right.
Yeah, we just went on tangent.
It looks interesting. I want to
Pick
know.
one.
Okay, I'm
New
gonna
topics.
I'm gonna pick the one that's that looks.
God.
Never mind.
The camera cut off.
It's over.
Camera said nope.
Camera said.
"We're not giving
nah.
you your moment." Okay.
Well, okay.
1, 2, or
so
3?
I'm going with 1 because it's
Okay.
gonna be so middle school. We had some dances, and it was a fun time. I went in 7th grade, and 8th grade, I think.
8th grade dance.
And I think this was 8th grade. Going to the dance. I'm wearing khakis.
Hell yeah,
and
dude.
She sounds hideous. Sorry.
okay, State Farm. And like some really way too fancy of a shirt. It was like a
shirt?
No, it was like I was one of the popular kids, so polos.
No.
Like a
It's like
No,
those.
it was like a button
weird
down, and
patterns.
Huh?
Did it have like weird patterns or something?
Yeah, I think it was I think I still have a shirt like it. That's just it has blue lines,
Interesting.
but it's a button down and it's a white. It was stupid.
But
I
now
was- I was way too
you thought you
aggressive.
were doing
You look good.
the best. You were confident.
Totally, I was super confident. And then so there was this girl that I had a crush on pretty much throughout middle school, named Kendra. So Kendra, if you're out there listening to this, it's Kane, yeah.
You heard it here first. If your name
Kane.
starts with a K, you have a chance.
Well, let's find out how this story ends.
Oh wait, yeah, wait.
Because the
well,
first one was so great.
so far the first one, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Well, so we started dancing, cause it's a dance, and I was like, let's dance.
It was just like, don't
Wanna-
trust her, never trust her,
Yeah.
don't trust her,
How won't trust me?
8th grade dance.
Classic. No, at ours it was wagon wheel.
Oh.
No idea.
Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama. We're in North Carolina. We're in North Carolina, guys.
shit.
Yeah, it's great. That played once, but no, we danced to I think we danced to what is that Christina Perry song that was in Twilight?
1,000 years.
Yeah. So we danced to that, and some people might say I'm stealing this, but no, actually, I had my life stolen by Big Mouth. Because you know what I did when we were dancing and we got really close to each other?
No. Wait. I'm scared. Wait. No.
So anyways,
No.
after we were done dancing, I, realizing I'm wearing khakis,
Literally the exact same thing.
go to the bathroom and, just spend some time in there to just let stuff not be like that anymore.
Are you really dancing that close together?
Dude, I had no conception of
What was going
What-
on?
yeah.
What was wet?
yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm feeling things though. And then
You were like, I like dancing.
I thought you guys kind of knew what I meant when I wrote down pulling a big mouth.
Listen, a lot of stuff happens in Big
There's
Mouth.
a lot of
That's
stuff
true.
happening in Big Mouth. I thought maybe anything else.
So,
Maybe that man used to fuck your pillow. I don't
Right.
know.
Really though.
I wish it was that instead. Seems less embarrassing.
Oh gosh. Wow.
I'm glad that's out in the universe now.
Yeah, that's
So, now that the story's been told, I'm gonna need all K names to stay away from Oscar.
Yeah.
Does not seem to help him.
Yeah. It's like what? It's like Kathy's,
Kathy.
Catherine's, with a K.
Carly with a K.
Karen.
Karens are canceled, so that's not a problem.
Camilla.
That's a C.
Christy.
Usually.
They could be with a K. Kristen.
Kristen.
Kirsten.
Well, that's my cousin's name, so I'm.
North Carolina.
Okay, good night, everybody.
We're cutting that last one
Okay.
out.
I didn't mean it. I'm from Texas.
I got a meeting to go to.
I have a video to show you guys.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we're gonna watch this video. You can watch the YouTube channel tomorrow. The same episode, but on YouTube. I love you. Have fun.
Thank you.